work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. I don't know about you, but that lands with quite an impact in my heart and mind as I seek to navigate the waters, both as an individual member of society and also as someone who, along with my colleagues, is responsible for the souls and well-being of those under my care. Do you realize how quickly your church, my church, can become just an angry place? Where instead of a spirit of mission, there is just a prevailing sense of admonition. There's a reason, you see, there's a credibility gap between many of our congregations and our contemporary young people. Because although they may be all of these things in relationship to a quasi-reality and an immorality and so on, the one thing they don't like to be is mean. And to the extent that they think that these Christian people are just mean, then it's from the Muffets, Balconeers. They were never down in the action. They just sat up there the whole time, harumphing and pumping and moaning and complaining. Oh, it's a dreadful thing when you have a Statler and a Waldorf in your congregation, male or female. There's biblical precedent for this kind of approach. The Sons of Thunder were right along those lines, weren't they? Coming back from the evangelistic venture in Samaria, where the response has not been exactly what you would from heaven and consume them. The kind of reverse altar call approach. And Jesus said, no, that would be a no. At Yale Divinity School. And on that occasion, he warned the students of what he referred to as is no gospel at all. And historically, liberal Protestantism has taken this approach, making its appeal to those who are elite in the culture, at least intellectually, not wishing to be regarded as ignorant men. It began really with the Scopes monkey trial. Creation will get rid of. To think of the resurrection not as a physical reality that impinged upon everything, but just as some kind of spiritual notion. And we are here to tell you today, they would say, that that's just exactly how we ought to view it. And that approach continued, but actually in quarters that would now be within the broader framework of evangelicalism. So if our audience is offended by our theology, then we can just switch to psychology. If they don't like responsible and accountable to God, then we can change that a little. After all, we do need a crowd. If propositional truth claims are unwelcome, then we can just soften the blow. We can blur the lines. But we didn't do that. You always come back saying, what happened to all those churches over there? Either a lot of them are empty or whatever. And I always say the same thing, hang on, you're about to find out. It might not be very nice, but I think it's fairly accurate. Did you see the piece on the 3rd of January? Europe's empty churches go on sale. Did you read some of this? It is, I don't know whether to laugh or burst into tears. In Bristol, England, the former St. Paul's Church has become the Circo Media, circus training school. Operators say the high ceilings are perfect for aerial equipment like trapezes. Ah, Providence. In Edinburgh, Scotland, a Lutheran church has become a Frankenstein-themed bar featuring bubbling test tubes, lasers, and a life-size Frankenstein's monster descending from the ceiling at midnight. Jason McDonald, the supervisor of the pub, says he hasn't heard any complaints about this. churches, and no one goes to them. Well, you've been listening earlier about Ephesus. Then we can go to Wales. In fact, we can go throughout Western Europe. No, this issue of truth and reality and history is absolutely crucial. And that's why when we address it in this way, we do so purposefully. J.D. Unwin, a historian who has studied extensively in human culture, studied 86 different societies spanning 5,000 years. And he found an unexpected and direct correlation in human records has an addition which does not insist on prenuptial and postnuptial continence. Toynbee said of the 22 civilizations that have appeared in history, 19 of them collapsed when they reached the moral state that the United States is in tonight. So what are we to do? We say no to admonition. We say no to accommodation. And we say yes to proclamation. To proclamation. The weapons of our warfare are strong for tearing down strongholds and those notions that set themselves against the knowledge of God. God has entrusted to us not only the armor that protects us as we go into battle, in order to, I hope, re-whet your appetite and send you back to do your homework again. Paul is there, as we are told, waiting in Athens. Luke tells us what he saw. He tells us what he felt. And then he tells us what he did or what he said. Nothing at all in all the world, and there is no God but one. So for him to stand and look at all of that moved him. And the language is that of a movement that would be in the very core of his glory.